You're not broke. You're creatively aligning with expensive habits in need of manifestation therapy. Manifesting money isn't about chanting affirmations in your shower until your shampoo does your taxes. It's about intentionally designing systems and mindset shifts that bring income and internal peace. Today, we dive into the story of Aya, someone who tried crystals, vision boards, and 3 manifestation journals, and still ended up broke owning 30 tote bags. But when Aya started treating money like a relationship, showing up daily, listening to its whispers, and giving it structure, it began reciprocating. We're talking real income, real impact, and real growth, all born from a blend of spiritual courage and practical strategy. Get your manifestation wand, notebook ready. Let's grow that money vibe into actual dollars. The spiritual bankrupt syndrome, Aya had everything a typical aligned girl boss needed. Crystals? Check. Moon water in a mason jar? Double check. A manifestation journal where she wrote, "I am abundant 33 times every morning" in gold gel pen? Naturally. But her actual bank account? Think of a desert. Not a glamorous golden Dubai desert. We're talking a flat, cracked Sahara of overdraft. Her fridge light flickered like it was judging her every time she reached in for oat milk she couldn't afford. And still, Aya would stand there, affirming out loud, "I am a money magnet." Meanwhile, GrabPay declined her ride home. Her money habits were all vibes and zero structure. A Pinterest board come to life, but with late payment fees. She wasn't lazy, she was overwhelmed. Because when you're taught that financial success is about energy, but no one gives you the tools, you start blaming yourself for not vibrating high enough every time your bills pile up. She joined online money manifestation challenges, spent $88 on a wealth activation candle, and listened to affirmations while she slept. But nothing was changing because, and brace yourself, the universe doesn't accept vibes as legal tender. The landlord wants rent, not radiant alignment. It took one final, "Your transaction cannot be completed" text on a Sunday night while holding a lukewarm bowl of instant noodles for Aya to scream into her pillow, "I'm tired of pretending this is working." It was her turning point, not because she abandoned spirituality, but because she realized she'd been skipping the part where the spiritual meets the spreadsheet. And she deserved better than a life spent avoiding her bank app like it was haunted. Listening to money's vibes, Aya didn't jump straight into budgeting. That felt too adult, too rigid, like eating boiled vegetables on purpose. Instead, she started listening. She opened her banking app and stared, not in horror, but in observation. Where was the money going? When did it leave her account? And more importantly, how did she feel each time it did? She noticed she had a habit of stress spending on Mondays, a passive-aggressive rebellion against the week. Fridays were celebration mode, complete with food delivery and treat yourself self-talk. By Sunday, she was bathing in guilt and Pringles dust. Aya didn't just track the what, she tracked the why. She printed 3 months' worth of statements and color-coded them like a crime scene. Turns out, her recurring payments included a yoga subscription she hadn't used since 2021 and a weird app that helped you track lunar productivity. Each transaction became a clue, and each clue revealed an emotion: boredom, loneliness, FOMO. She also started journaling the vibe behind every major transaction. Bought $30 worth of aesthetic stationery. Felt out of control at work. Needed to feel accomplished. Bought 3 new houseplants? Needed to nurture something. Aya realized money was a mirror. Her spending reflected her state of mind, and suddenly, she didn't feel so clueless. She felt seen by her own finances. Terrifying, empowering, both. The Manifestation Plus Budget Blueprint. Armed with emotional awareness and a printer ink deficit, Aya was ready to make a budget. But not just any boring Excel-coded mess. No, ma'am. She needed a budget with flair. One that felt like a vision board had a baby with a Gantt chart. She called it her spiritual budget blueprint. It had 3 sacred categories. First, vibe savings. For things that kept her magical. crystals, dance classes, full moon beach rituals. Second, action savings. For grown-up stuff like emergency funds, CPF top-ups, and investments that made her feel like a serious person. Third, manifestation fund, a stash of money purely for bold moves, like paying for a workshop, upgrading her website, or giving herself a "you got this" bonus. She automated transfers the moment her paycheck hit. It wasn't about restriction. It was about giving every dollar a vibe. Her budget wasn't a punishment. It was a permission slip. It told her, yes, buy the ethically sourced rose quartz. Yes, eat sushi on Friday. But do it intentionally, not like a sleep-deprived gremlin in checkout mode. Aya also ditched the phrase, can't afford, and replaced it with, not aligned this month. Language shift, mindset shift. Every month, she reviewed the blueprint and adjusted. Got a bonus? That's a spiritual windfall. Unexpected bill? That's a universe lesson in flexibility. Her budget didn't control her. It communicated with her. The power of ritual and reflection. Sunday nights used to mean anxiety spirals and watching 6 episodes of something she didn't even like. Now, Aya had a new ritual. Money alignment Sundays TM. No incense, no sage. Just her laptop, her journal, a peppermint tea, and 1 candle, because she's not a monster. She lit the candle and said her weekly intention aloud. I honor money as a sacred tool for my highest alignment. Then she opened her budget, tracked her spending for the week, and journaled how each transaction made her feel. Not just bad or good, but informed. She started writing affirmations based on her numbers. I moved $150 toward my dreams this week. Every dollar I spent brought me joy or growth. My finances reflect my values, not my fears. Aya even designed a little money tarot spread. 1 card for her mindset, 1 for her upcoming opportunities, and 1 for advice. It was woo-woo as heck, but it kept her grounded in action, not just intentions. This ritual didn't just soothe her Sunday scaries. It anchored her identity as someone who cared for her money with reverence. Not stress, not avoidance. She started looking forward to it, like a date with herself. And every week she showed up, she got a little bolder, a little clearer, a little richer, emotionally and literally. When Aya faced her financial inner critic, one rainy Wednesday, while Aya was halfway through her weekly money ritual and crunching her grocery budget, she caught herself muttering, "Ugh, why are you so bad at this?" The voice was snide, familiar, not even hers exactly. It sounded suspiciously like her mom, or that one finance bro on TikTok who made her feel like financial literacy was a competition she was always losing. This, my friend, was her financial inner critic. This little goblin sat in her subconscious, whispering things like, if you were smart, you wouldn't be here. Why didn't you start saving earlier? Everyone else has it figured out. Except, plot twist, no one does. Not really. Everyone is out here budgeting with duct tape and vibes, hoping no one notices. Aya decided to do what any chaotic good person would do. She gave her inner critic a name. Beatrice. Beatrice was uptight, wore a power blazer, and had opinions TM. She never had fun, but she had a lot to say about avocado toast. Every time Beatrice showed up during a budget check-in, Aya would pause and write down what she heard. Then, in another column, she'd respond with compassion, as if talking to her younger self. You should be further along became, you're building something beautiful, and you're doing it now. This reframing wasn't some toxic positivity exercise. It was reality checking the shame. Aya learned that guilt burns energy, while grace restores it. She stopped beating herself up for not being good with money and started celebrating each step, even if Beatrice still rolled her eyes occasionally. The joy budget. One Sunday, as Aya prepared for her usual money ritual, she realized something. She had built an impressive financial foundation, savings, sinking funds, even a CPF tracker that didn't make her cry. But something was missing: joy. Budgeting had become so efficient, it was starting to feel dull, like brushing your teeth. Important, but not exactly thrilling. So Aya made a bold move. She created a joy budget. It wasn't about reckless spending. It was about intentional delight, a category purely for things that made her soul do a little happy dance. Examples? A spontaneous art class, a ridiculously fancy croissant, upgrading her earbuds because her old ones sounded like underwater AM radio. She gave this category 5 to 10% of her income, not a reward for being good, but a necessary part of financial self-care. Here's the kicker. The joy budget made her better with money. Why? Because when joy is part of the plan, you stop using money to numb yourself. You stop those late-night, I need to feel something shopping spirals. Aya started feeling safe with money, not just in a practical sense, but emotionally. Her finances stopped feeling like a tightrope and started feeling like a hammock. She realized abundance isn't just about numbers. It's about knowing you can meet your needs and your joy. Aya gets her passive income moment. Months into her transformation, something magical happened. Aya got her first passive income payout, a tiny dividend from her ESG fund. It wasn't much, the financial equivalent of a polite nod from the universe, but it was hers. She'd been drip-feeding money into a robo-advisor, picking green funds aligned with her values. And now, the money was working while she napped with a face mask on. Iconic. Aya didn't dance because the payout was big. She danced because it was proof. Proof that her efforts were compounding. Proof that aligned abundance wasn't just a Pinterest quote. Proof that financial systems weren't just scary black boxes built by men in suits. She wrote in her journal, "I don't chase money. I build systems that attract it." She started telling friends about her journey, not in a preachy way, but in a, "Hey, I'm figuring it out too" way. And something amazing happened. They listened. They related. They asked her to show them her color-coded budget. Aya had become the money fairy of her group chat. She sent spreadsheets like other people send memes, because her story wasn't about being perfect. It was about being intentional, about bridging the gap between spiritual dreams and financial structure. And that tiny dividend, it reminded her that small wins, when honored, become big momentum. Integration, where the woo meets the wallet. Aya wasn't living in extremes anymore. She no longer ping-ponged between chaotic spending and guilt-fueled austerity. Instead, she was walking her version of the middle path, where financial structure held space for her dreams, and her dreams included a 3-month emergency fund and a gold moon necklace. She now saw budgeting as a spell, a weekly ritual where her attention turned into alignment. She didn't just track numbers, she tracked meaning. Every dollar was a decision. Every decision was a direction. Aya wasn't just surviving, she was thriving in the middle of an imperfect capitalist system because she had created her own sacred financial rhythm. Her phone lock screen now said, "Wealth is a practice, not a prize." And every time she opened her banking app, she smiled. Because now the numbers weren't scary. They were a reflection of her priorities, her growth, and her freaking resilience. And Beatrice? She still showed up now and then, usually when Aya wanted to spend on something fun. But now, Aya would smile and say, "Thanks for your input, Beatrice," and proceed to book that sound healing session anyway, budgeted for, of course. Aya didn't win the lottery. She didn't find some secret formula that made money rain from the skies. What she did do was far more magical. She stopped waiting for her finances to make sense on their own, and she started participating in her own abundance. She rewrote the narrative, from confused to curious, from shameful to sovereign. Her bank account didn't become a source of dread. It became a mirror, reflecting her clarity, her joy, and her power. And isn't that the goal? Not to hoard wealth, not to hustle forever, but to build a life where money supports your values, not strangles them. Aya is you. She's me. She's every overworked dreamer who once whispered, "There has to be a better way." Spoiler, there is. And it starts when you take the wheel. So here's your next move. Don't just watch this and nod along. Pick one thing. One small, scrappy, soulful step toward financial clarity. Create your joy budget. Name your inner critic. Open that spreadsheet. Do it with music on, with coffee in hand, with zero pressure to be perfect. And if you need a reminder that you're not doing it alone, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment with your Aya moment, and share this with someone whose wallet could use a little woo. Your money isn't just math, it's a mirror. Time to like what you see.